Most traders can pass a challenge once, but only a few stay profitable after getting funded. In this video, I'll break down the 7 key things that separates consistent funded traders from those who keep blowing up their accounts. I'm Rodrigo, and I've coached traders who've secured over $2.5 million in payouts. And I've seen every pattern you can imagine. I've seen the consistent trader, the overconfident trader, the emotional trader, the gambler, the technician, the calm killer in the markets. And trust me, consistency is not magic. It's not something that only a few can attain, because consistency is a system. All right, let's get into it. Listen, if you're jumping from ICT on Monday, SMC on Tuesday, and then order flow on Wednesday, you're not a trader. You're just a gambler. Just pick one. Look, choose a setup that you actually resonate with. It actually matches with who you are. So if you're impatient, don't pretend you're some Zen higher time frame trader who can wait 8 hours for one candle. And if you're analytical, don't choose a strategy that relies on just feeling vibes and hope, because mastery, it comes from repetition. You need to be able to do this over and over again. Now, neuroscience backed this up, because the more that you perform the same action, the more the pathways in your brain connect, which literally makes execution much smoother and faster. And when you stick to one strategy, you build the pattern recognition. And this pattern recognition is where your confidence will come from, okay? It's not how motivated you are. It's not how many certificates your mentor has. It's not certificates. It's literally repetition. So choose one strategy and just marry it for some time. Get to know it, especially the asset that you're trading. And stop cheating on every single one of your trades because you keep changing strategy because you see another YouTube video. And look, one of my favorite acronyms is the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Now listen, your trading day doesn't start when you start loading your charts in the morning. Your trading day starts the night before. I've always said this. So if you want to perform at the highest level, you can't wake up like some confused NPC trying to figure out what to wear, what to eat, and when to start trading. One day you're checking DXY first, next you're checking NQ first. Look, proper preparation removes negotiation, and negotiation is where your discipline dies. So before you go to bed, lay out your clothes, prepare your food, write down your trading plan, review your levels, set your alerts, and list your to-do list. It should all be ready. So when you wake up, everything has already been decided. There's neuroscience that backs this up, and it's decision fatigue. Baumeister's work shows that as the day goes on, every decision chips away at your willpower. It literally drains your brain's glucose. So why do breakers break their rules late in the session? It's not because they forgot, it's just because their brain was tired. And proper preparation, it saves your discipline from the only thing that matters, and that is your execution. That's what matters in that moment, okay? So you're not trying to be spontaneous, you're trying to be consistent. Remember what I said earlier, it's about consistency and repetition, and consistency is built on the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, okay? Treat your routine like an athlete does. You gotta treat your environment like a professional, okay? Can't have a messy bedroom or trading desk. So make sure you treat your mornings like they matter, because your trading, it matters. You need to treat this seriously every single time you start a session. You gotta personalize your risk management, because blown accounts don't happen because your strategy doesn't work. It should work. These blown accounts, they happen because traders don't understand their numbers. So your risk needs to match your data, not your emotions, okay? Not you dreaming of these 1 to 20 trades, not your mate on Instagram who's flipped a demo account, right? That's why back testing is essential. And I'm not talking about that lazy, you just done 12 trades, uploaded them to Notion. That's nonsense. I'm talking about a minimum of 100 trades back to back, exactly the same rules. Why 100? Because with 100 trades, you finally understand the following: your average win, your average loss, your profit factor, your win rate, your average holding durations for winners and for the losers. And once you know these numbers, risk management becomes logical, okay? And logic is better than emotions. So you know how long to hold a trade, especially if it's moving slowly. And you should know when a losing trade is just still, it's normal, versus when it's violating your data. You should know these things because of your data. You should know what your strategy feel like at every step of the setup. My favorite form of backtesting is simulation testing for this reason. Candle by candle, because you get to feel it. Not only do you collect data, but you can simulate the emotional pressure of decision making. And that's how you start to build pattern recognition and confidence. Now, when it comes to live execution, especially during your challenge phase, you should risk around 1 to 2%, okay? For funded accounts, risk 0.5 to 1%, because when you risk too much, you're not trading, you're gambling. And you can't be a funded trader with a gambler's mindset. You get caught out. Plus, prop firms will just ban you. So you got to start thinking in probabilities, not trying to predict. Like, you got to start thinking in points, in ticks, in pips, not in dollar terms, okay? Your edge is not in your entries. Your edge is in the numbers that you've tested. Motivation is all good, it's nice, but motivation won't save you from when the market claps back, slaps you in the face, 9:15 a.m. And discipline is what keeps traders funded long term. Now, discipline, it only exists when you stop letting emotions make decisions for you. Antonio Damasio's research proved something very powerful, and it's that humans, they make decisions emotionally first and then logically second. Which means if your emotions are unstable, the trading is going to be unstable. Full stop, every time. And fear, greed, anxiety, FOMO, revenge, these aren't just random feelings. They're predictable psychological responses that are triggered by uncertainty and risk. Now, a lot of traders think they're struggling with strategy. Nah. They're actually struggling with emotional management. I'm going to show you what discipline looks like. Discipline is following your plan when you don't feel like it, stopping your brain when it's tired, and accepting losses without losing control, and not doubling down just to make it back, or taking profits when your plan says, not when your emotions or your fear is triggered. Funded accounts, they expose your emotional weaknesses brutally. Any leaks in your emotional management, you'll know right away. And that's why you need systems, routine, reviews, accountability. You need boundaries, because if you don't control your emotions, the market and prop firms, you're going to get exposed every single time. Every weakness you have, it's just going to get exposed at scale. Now, you've got to keep a detailed trading journal. Most consistent traders that I've spoken to, they've journaled extensively. And every inconsistent trader thinks that they can remember everything. That's the biggest lie. And so you can't excuse it. And your journal should document setup, your reasoning, emotional state, your trade management, your exit logic, and also what you've learned. And make sure always take your screenshots, okay? Now, the value isn't there. It's not in doing all of that. The value is actually in the weekly review. That's where you're gonna see your patterns, okay? Because maybe you rush after you win. Maybe your losses come from boredom. Maybe your morning trades outperform your afternoon trades. Perhaps your best trades come after a workout, or maybe you sabotage after 2 wins. So your journal is your accountability partner. It tells the truth even when your emotions lie. This is how you refine edge. It's not by strategy hopping. It's not by tweaking the indicators. It's more about understanding yourself. I can't stress how important this is about knowing the prop firm rules, because most traders, they lose funded account because they just didn't read the rules properly. And nothing is worse than losing an account, something that wasn't even a mistake. It wasn't a trading mistake. It was you. And every firm has different rules, whether it's daily drawdown, equity-based limits, consistency requirements, lot sizes, news restrictions, time limits, they all vary. So you gotta play it smart. And before committing to a big account, especially if you're trying out a new firm, test the rules on a smaller account. See what conditions there are there. Learn, the quirks and the risk parameters, the platform, the community, the customer support, and also learn how strict the backend actually is. Yeah. And when you start withdrawing, build small payouts first. I say this to all my clients. Initially, you want to stay under the radar, okay? And then ease into larger payout cycle, because prop firms will never admit this, but if you just come out the gate too profitable, too fast, certain restrictions suddenly appear. I know it's not ethical, but it's reality. You got to know the rules, master these rules, okay? Adapt your strategy to these rules. Play the long game. And the long game, this is why you got to think long term. And long-term funded traders, they live by one philosophy, and that's Kaizen, continuous improvement, small daily upgrades, small adjustments, small refinements. And you don't need to reinvent yourself every single month. It's not about that. It's just that you just need to get 1% better every week. And Kaizen is about respecting the process, respecting the data, just respecting your craft, respecting this as a business. So you got to review your mistakes, okay? Fix one thing. When that's done, move on to the next. Keep pushing forward. And the following week, you improve something else. Over time, those small things, those small refinements and upgrades, you start changing. You become somebody else, unrecognizable. And it's not because of one big breakthrough. It's not an overnight thing, but it's because of hundreds of small transformations and improvement. And Kaizen, it keeps you funded because it keeps you evolving over time. And if this video has helped you, share it with your trading circle. Share it with the communities that you're in. There's a trader out there that needs this video right here. So I'll see you on the next one. Take care.